Hey friends, thanks for joining me today. I'm Jackie Alves and I'm coming to you from my makeup studio in Arizona like I usually do. Today I'm going to be sharing some great things with you, some under eye brightening tips that are going to blow your mind. I don't think it should be so hard. I don't think that we should struggle so much as we age and get the wrinkles and the lines under our eyes. And especially if we've got some darkness we're trying to cover, I just don't want it to be that hard for you, and it doesn't have to be. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to show you something that's crease proof because there's no such thing, and I'm sure that you've all kind of gathered that by now, that our skin creases, so the product is not going to be crease proof because it's on our skin that creases. However, I'm going to show you ways to use some simple products and less products so at least won't make you look worse while brightening under your eyes and maybe trying to cover some dark circles. So let's get cracking. First of all, I did some great skin prep like I always do. I've got clean skin and some moisturizer. Now I'm gonna do some eye cream. You usually don't see me do this, but I wanted to prove a point. Really get a good amount of eye cream on under your eyes if you haven't already at this point. And I'm gonna just let it sit. Don't forget the inner corner. I've noticed that creases pretty bad too when we smile. We always focus on out here because we're obsessed with crow's feet, but don't forget the inner corner. And getting some out here. I'm trying not to get it in my eyelashes because then it's gonna get in my eyes and then my life is over because you will all be blurry. Or, I mean, I will be blurry. I mean, you know what I mean. Okay. So now I'm going to do some of this hydrating facial serum. I introduced this a couple weeks ago and it's incredible. This is a brand new serum from Jafra Cosmetics. It's part of their BioLab collection. Let me bring it closer. But it's not necessarily like oily or has a lot of moisture in it. It's not for dry skin, it's for dehydrated skin. So I love that because my skin looks dehydrated a lot. It doesn't matter what I do or how much water I drink. So I'm just gonna get a little bit on here. And you can use this as part of your skincare routine like a serum, like, you know, before the moisturizer and all that jazz. And I do, but I love to put it with my makeup routine because it really gives my foundation like this incredible, like healthy look. And I don't necessarily mean like, you know, the dewy finish thing, which I love, but there's just something about it. It just makes my foundation help my skin look healthy and back to life rather than dull like it's been so bad in the past. I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? I use great skincare. I try my hardest to take good care of myself. Why is my skin dulling? But, you know, gravity, age, it is what it is. So now I'm going to use, I'm going to skip primer, believe it or not. Oh, she's skipping primer. I know, because I don't want to show you something you don't need. I don't want you to buy something you don't need. I'm actually going to show you something that actually, I said actually like 50 times already today, but actually you can just use this foundation by itself. I have found that it works good with primer and it works great without primer. So use it how you like. This is also from Jafra Cosmetics and it is the new Jafra Beauty Cream Foundation. And I am not a cream foundation fan. I was full blown like against this whole wave of cream sauciness that's going on. Like it was so popular and I was like, whatever. That's a load of baloney because it creases on my face and I live in the desert where it's 8 bazillion degrees today and everything is just gonna really settle into the lines. And like I said, I'm not looking for crease proof, but I don't want anything like caking up in there. And that's what cream always did, and it really made me feel itchy and gross. Like literally I feel itchy. I tried a lot of different brands, but I tried this brand of course when it came out, and I have had a lot of people, including myself, say it feels totally weightless. I just used it on a girl yesterday who came in. She got her makeup done for photos for a local pageant. And I said, how does that feel on your face? And we used a good amount because it was for photos. And she said, oh, I don't feel like I'm wearing any makeup. And I said, yes, that's a score. So, you know, it's not just me. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this foundation and my foundation brush. This is one by Jafra, of course, but any like really great foundation brush that's like short and pretty thick like this is gonna work really well for you. You can use a sponge if you like, but honestly, I'm gonna get a nice brushed through look with this. So let's go. I just tapped it in there a couple times. I don't need to scrape in because I don't want a lot of product, and this goes really far. So I'm gonna start by plopping it in the middle. Yes, that's the technical term, plop. I said technical term. The technical term is plopping. I mean, not really, but look how pretty that is already. Like, it matches really well. And you guys know, I explain to you every time, in video, on camera, everything looks a little more yellow than it is. So trust me, I'm looking at myself in a regular mirror and it looks really nice. So I just went right through the middle already. Now I'm doing more plopping. You guys, so I was coming into the beauty bar today to do this video for you and literally couldn't wait to get on and make the video for you. The comments in my YouTube channel have been so much fun. You guys have the greatest things to say and so encouraging. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure you guys know it's pretty hard to be seen on camera. You know, when we get older too, we don't have as much confidence, but this is a tough world. You know, this social media thing and this video making thing that I'm doing, it's not easy. And I notice a lot of women don't do it because they're like, heck no, I'm not getting on camera. Or younger women even, you think they would be fearless. And they're like, no, I don't want to get on there because I don't know what kind of an ugly comment I'm going to get. And so it can be hard. And you guys have been so good to me. And sharing some of your own struggles and stories, whether it's about your skin or the loss of someone you love. I mean, I love how much you're all sharing. So thank you for all of that, all the comments, all the subscriptions. I really love you guys so much. And just, this has been such a joy for me to be able to do these videos for you. I've been a makeup artist for 33 years. What? Yes, 33 years. And I've got lots of experience to share with you. I've got lots of struggles and incredible experiences and stories to share with you too, like I'm sure each of you do. All right. I just really struggle with the red chest. Like I said, I know it looks more yellow on camera, but trust me, it's not. But look how my chest is. Thanks, Mom. Like, I remember her having this red patch right here always. And of course, you know, it's a lot of sun exposure and all that jazz, but ooh, especially when I have a hot flash, I light up. But I'm gonna use a little bit of this foundation right here. Now I'm gonna be careful not to get it on my shirt, my pretty peach shirt. I wanted to wear peach today because I'm gonna do a nice bronzy, glowy look for fall. I know everybody thinks, oh, summer glow, but guess what? Don't we wanna look nice and like, have those fall colors? And I mean, I'm sorry, but I can glow in December. I'm fine with it. Glowing is a good thing and it doesn't have to be seasonal. Oh, that's a great title for this video. Glowing doesn't have to be seasonal. But my son, who edits my videos, will probably think of something super crafty. All right, looks like I'm done. I took extra time on the foundation because I wanted to make sure it was blended. I know when I watch this video back, it won't be. You guys, when I see myself sometimes and I watch the videos, I'm like, oh girl, you gotta get your eyes checked. I mean, not that that would make a difference. I know I'm half blind, but you know, maybe I could get LASIK or contacts or something. Okay, I'm all finished with that. I'm gonna use a very lightweight dusting of loose powder. Now, you can literally use any loose powder you like. I have one that's kind of a vanilla color. I would recommend a powder that's about the same shade as your foundation at this point. Don't go with that white, light brightening powder. I'm just buffing and setting really gently. So let me get my mirror. And just bouncing it right through the center. I'm not putting any under my eyes. And you saw me go under my eyes with foundation, but super light. Because don't pile up under the eyes. We're going back there later. Down the neck and on the chest. So I never once dipped back in that powder. Super lightweight is the key. All right, where am I? Oh, I'm gonna do some great bronzing right now. I'm not gonna do a super intense sculpted contour. I wanna keep it lightweight and simple. So, you guys know the story. This is my full face contour palette that I have here at the Beauty Bar. It's just one of my brands. I have a small line of makeup that I have here at the Beauty Bar because I have a makeup academy and I like the students to have some of my things. And also I have some local clients who love to get their paws on my things. So I have a small little line of my own. So I'm gonna go right here. Look at this giant fan brush though. This thing's amazing. It was dirt cheap. I got it on Amazon. It's nothing like a special brand. But it is fun to contour with. Because I'm not sculpting, so I don't have to go in carefully. I can just brush it on. I go in like the shape of the Nike swoop. Go on this side. Good thing I'm flexible, huh? Look at these tricks just to get to the other side of my face. All right, bringing it up. Just a scoop, trying to frame out my cheek a little bit. But I did just use a little bit of product too. I don't want to overdo the contour. A little on my forehead by my hairline. If you have a big old fat hairline like I do, you may want to contour it a little bit, bronze it down. I know it doesn't look like I have a big fat hairline right now because I know how to like slick this hair down over it and hide it. But yeah, it creeps back there pretty far. Oh, by the way, I was thinking about trying Rogaine for women. I'm wondering if any of you have tried it. I remember when my mom tried it. Don't forget to contour a little bit under your chin. Don't get it on your chin because you don't want to look like you have a beard, okay? I mean, maybe you do, but maybe this isn't the right channel for you. Okay, so anyway, I remember when my mom tried Rogaine for women, and she said that it worked a little bit. And I mean, we're talking like probably 25 years ago or more. She said that it worked, but that when you stop using it, that new hair falls out. And she said it was very expensive. So I looked last time I was at a drugstore and noticed it wasn't absolutely outrageous in price, but I didn't want to put something on my head yet without asking around. So if you know anything, let me know in the comments what you think or what your experience has been. Even if you haven't tried it, just let me know what you think about Rogaine for women. Or, you know, any type of hair growth serum. It doesn't have to be that brand. But, you know, if you have tried something and you have tried a brand that you like or that you're successful, good Lord, girl, let me know what it is. I am on the hunt for it. Okay, so now I'm gonna do some blush. I'm gonna do this just lightweight, pretty blush called Bronze. It's by Jafra Cosmetics as well. Let me get that in there. This wacky, see how all the background is blurred and it's super cool. I look like, you know, the coolest influencer. Well, then it also like won't focus on this stuff very well. So check that out. It's Bronze, you can trust me, even if you couldn't read it. So I'm gonna use the same brush, my wacky fan brush, and just pop it right on top. Now notice I still haven't done concealer yet. And if you guys have watched me for any amount of time, you'll know that I do concealer way later in the game. And it's okay, you can do it earlier if you want. It's really okay. I like to do it later, so that way if I get sprinkles of eyeshadow or poke myself in the eye with mascara or something, I don't mess up all my beautiful concealer. I can go back and just swipe it out later, and I'll show you what I mean when we get to that point. But right now, I'm doing blush, and I'm getting sidetracked a lot. Got good stuff to share today, so been excited. Okay. A little bit above the arches of my brows and on the tip of my nose. That reminds me of the 80s, early 80s, maybe even late 70s, when I would watch my mom and my aunt get ready when they were gonna go out together. Yeah, you know what, it was probably like 1980 or 81. And I remember they were in the bathroom and my aunt had an afro. Like she could use a pick and get her hair really big. My mom had some kind of Farrah Fawcett thing going on, but they were wearing these shiny jumpsuits. And I feel like they were listening to like Shake Your Groove thing by like, I think that's Peaches and Herb, I don't even know. But they were like in the bathroom dancing and like doing their hair and all the things. And I was just sitting there watching in total awe of how beautiful they were. Anyway, they were also blushing the tip of their nose. That's how I got there. You guys can tell I'm full of baloney today. All right, so now I'm gonna go into eyeshadow, and I have the biggest, fattest, most amazing palette ever. Yeah, it's a big one. But check it out though, it's not a confusing one. So big doesn't have to be horrible and confusing and too many ugly colors. Well, not ugly, I shouldn't say that, because maybe you love green eyeshadow, and I've seen beautiful looks with green eyeshadow, but I'm not gonna put it on me. What I mean by this is warm neutrals that literally almost anybody could wear. I use this palette so much for clients, it's just a crowd favorite, and it's one of my own. Yeah, so it's lovely. If you need a suggestion on something that compares anything that's like a warm neutrals or warm nudes or something like that, I know like Urban Decay has them. Bobbi Brown has a great couple of palettes that are much smaller but beautiful nude shades, warm neutrals. That's also very fall. You know, we're doing the warm neutrals, some beautiful bronzes, and I don't know other words like that. Okay, so I'm gonna start with just a light cream shade. It's a powder eyeshadow, but the color is cream. And I'm just gonna put it on my entire eyelid using a big fat fatty brush. This is one I just got from, like, I think it's called Crown Cosmetics. I don't work with them. I'm not, you know, like a influencer for them or anything. But I think you can just go to like crownbrush.com or something like that if you want to check out their brushes. They're pretty inexpensive. And mine has lasted forever. Okay, I'm going to use that same big fat brush. Now let me show you the shade I'm going to choose. So I want to get it up here so you can see it without the light ring flashing in your eyes while your life flashes before your eyes. I'm going to use this really incredible like rust shade right here, and then I'm going to go in with this dark cocoa brown. You see me use that a lot, so I'm going to use that one as my deepest shade. I always choose 3. Like once in a while I'll get wacky and use 4, but when I'm doing an eyeshadow look, I typically will choose 3: light, medium, and dark. And I start with the light one, then the medium goes in my crease, and then I do the dark one on the outer corner usually. It's a good rule of thumb. I've been doing makeup like that since I was like 13, and it's literally evergreen. I mean, you can use it to create so many different looks. I even teach that technique in my Makeup Artist Academy here. Okay, so going in with that super dark rust color, and I'm starting at the outer corner. I'm gonna do a fairly simple eyeshadow look for you because I wanna get to those under eye brightening tips. That's what we're all doing here anyway. So with the fat brush, I'm just bringing it up towards my brow. See how it just fades? But I didn't get it on my bottom lid. That's important. All right. And I literally just go in that eyeshadow because it's pretty high pigment and I don't want like a big giant blob on my eye. I mean, nobody wants a blob on their eye. That was kind of weird. Okay, I'm gonna windshield wiper it. Classic technique, the windshield wiper. And blend up towards my brow, just like I did on the other side. This one's darker, I think, by just a hair. So I'm gonna just put a little bit in here. Probably messed up the whole look. I encourage everybody to just get through to the end, and then you can go back and fix anything you messed up. Like, try your hardest unless it's a big disaster. Just commit to going from beginning to end if you can, and then go back and fix anything that was a horrible mistake. Anything that went horribly wrong, just go back later. Okay, I'm going back now to that chocolate or cocoa brown that I showed you. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. This is kind of a weird one. It's kind of a crease brush. It's by Real Techniques. You'll see me use them a lot. You can get those brushes anywhere. And just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna come close so you can see. Putting it on the outer corner. Oh God, I hate that brush for this technique. Never mind. What just happened to me? That was horrible. I'm gonna go in with this brush. Take two. I'm gonna go in with this brush that I got in my Ipsy bag like 4 years ago. I can't even remember the brand. Let me find it for you, just in case. Just in case you really like it. Farrah, like faucet. I think they make pretty good brushes. I've seen quite a bit about them. Okay, using the different brush. And I'm gonna grab a magnifying mirror because I mean business now. All right, there we go. That's so much better. I don't know what made me choose that other brush. I mean, I've used it before and it wasn't that disastrous. Okay, so just keeping that shade darker on the outside and fade toward the nose. Down here at the lash line. Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna fret. Don't fret, little lady. I think John Wayne used to say that. Don't fret, little lady, I'll fix your wagon. Okay, I'm gonna do this one here. Same way, see how I just brought it down to my lashes? And now I'm gonna just bounce and pat up toward my brow again. Okay. And of course I got that side darker, so I'll try to even it out a little bit. Oh, okay, it's fine. You know, everything's different when you're looking in the magnifying mirror. So if you're like me and you have to use the magnifying mirror, just look up occasionally into a regular mirror or a hand mirror that's not magnified and just double check it before you get off on this long tangent of trying to fix everything. Okay, I'm gonna use the same brush, the Farrah brush, to take that chocolate brown and just put it right under my eyes. Right at the lash line. Now, if this is too big for you and you don't wanna poke it, you know, poke yourself in the eye, use a smaller brush. It's okay, but I'm pretty good at putting weird stuff under my eyes. And see the weird face I'm making? That really helps stretch out under the eyes, so that's why those weird faces are helpful. It like helps flatten it. Okay, you can see how kind of wacky this eyeshadow is out here. Not the best, it's out of bounds, if you would, out of bounds. But I don't care because that's part of the concealer tricks I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna clean and sharpen that eyeshadow. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit of eyeliner right now. And I wanna use this gel eyeliner that I have. I use it quite a bit, but it packs quite a punch. It's like pow with the black. So if you like really defined black, a gel liner's good. I'm not great with the little paintbrush with gel like some women are. So I use a roll-up gel pencil. Coming closer. Starting at the outer corner and fading toward the nose, and then I'll turn it around and tip it on its side. That's how you get a skinnier line. And it's really jacked up right now. It's not straight at all. Yeah, I don't know how I managed to call myself a makeup artist with that, but whatever. Because I'm gonna go smudge it out, so I don't really care. Okay, doing the other side. Also, when I get mascara and lashes on, the eyeliner's not that big of a deal. Starting on the outside, fading toward the nose. I'll go ahead and finish this up and I'll be right back. All right, I've got both eyes done with eyeliner, and I said that I was gonna go back and smudge this out because it looked horrible, but then when I looked and compared it, it doesn't look bad at all, so I'm gonna leave it. That's why I say sometimes just take a step back and look at it again. I think I did a pretty good job. So now I'm going to do some mascara. And I'm using a smudge-proof mascara, but I don't have to put on too much. I don't have to worry a lot about it because I'm gonna do some false lashes today. But but I do want to get them separated. So I'll work on that real quick. Now getting the bottom, again with the open mouth. Another reason I like to leave concealer till later, because if I poke myself in the eye or get it underneath, I can just wipe it away. And you can see I just got a stupid spot of mascara right there. So I'm gonna have to go back and fan that out, but it'll be fine. All right, I'm gonna do the second eye now, just loading up those lashes with some mascara. You can see that's a pretty lightweight eyeshadow look I've got going on. And thank God my eyes cleared up. They were pretty red earlier. You know, so many things affect our makeup game. Whether we've got allergies or we're dehydrated, didn't sleep well, which as we age, we don't sleep that well. Thank you, menopause, right? Or, you know, anything else, you know, if you've got some stress or a little bit of pain going on in your body, maybe you don't sleep good, and that reflects in our face. So that does affect our makeup. I have a beautiful woman who commented on one of my videos that she struggles with an autoimmune disease that affects her skin quite a bit. And so, you know, there's a lot to take into account when choosing makeup products, but also when choosing makeup techniques and when knowing who to trust. You know, if someone's going to make suggestions that maybe are best for a 19-year-old, even if that 19-year-old has acne, maybe that's not going to be what's best for you if you're struggling with something that's affecting your skin. So, you know, definitely someone like me, someone who is a little bit closer to us in age, or someone that has a lot of experience, it's, you know, it's worth the time to try to find somebody like that. Usually they've had enough experience with other types of skin rather than their own that it's helpful. All right, so I'm pretty much done with eyeshadow, mascara, and liner. I want to darken my brows a little bit, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of brow powder to do that with, and a little angle brush. And I'm just gonna put some brow powder right on top of these permanent makeup brows that I have. So I'll be right back. All right, I've got a little bit of brow powder on my brows now. I just use it to go back over those like tattoos. It's not really a tattoo, but permanent makeup, just to bring them back to life. And now let's talk about eye brightening with some concealer tricks, I promise. Now remember back at the beginning, so many years ago when I started this video, and I told you that I was putting eye cream under my eye. I actually did it on camera and you saw me really pack it under there. Well, by now it's nice and soaked in. So I'm still good and moist under the eyes. I'm going to use a foundation for under my eyes. I'm not even using concealer. I'm using this matte foundation by Jafra Cosmetics, and the reason why I'm using it is because it's very velvety. I know it's called matte foundation, but it's not. It's not that dry matte kind of crusty thing we think when we think matte foundation. This has such a movable texture, like it moves with my skin, and like I said, very velvety finish, but I'm going to use a very light shade. This shade is called Alabaster, and it's really bright. It's about 2 shades lighter than my foundation. So that's how I suggest you roll if you want to try this. Go 2 shades lighter than your foundation, 1 to 2. If you don't like that bright, it's fine. Just a little bit lighter than your foundation. And I'm going to use a fluffy foundation brush. Okay, so I've got this one. It's got a little bit of a slant on it. It's really huge. So if you have a smaller area, you can use a smaller brush. But I'm going to take some of this Alabaster and put it here and here. Now, just because people say you have to use concealer under your eyes doesn't mean you have to use concealer under your eyes. I mean, do you always do what you're told? I don't. So I'm gonna just begin to blend it back and forth gently with this beautiful fluffy brush. I feel like I'm being stalked by a hair over here. And see, I'm not getting it all the way to my blush, but it's just gonna start fading into everything. Concentrating it right here to cut my eyeshadow to make it nice and sharp. Remember, I said we would take care of the eyeshadow madness later, and that's what I'm doing. And just gently, gently gliding it and bouncing it. And there's really nothing left on this brush, so that's how I can blend down a little bit further. It's very dry now. Now that looks beautiful to me. I really like it, but if you don't like it that bright under your eyes, it's okay. You can go closer to your foundation shade, but I always suggest at least one shade lighter because that's how you get that beautiful brightening. Now I put a light layer. You guys saw I just had that little blob and I just used a little bit. Now, if you have dark circles that you need to cover or some type of pigmentation under there and you need more product, go through and do a second layer. But with products like this one that are so velvety in the finish, it's easy to work with them and really easy to build. So I'm gonna grab just a little bit more and show you what I mean. So I will pat here because that's where I actually do have a little bit of darkness. I hate it, drives me crazy. And just adding a little bit more, and right there where my glasses always make this horrible shadow. And now I just buffed it on the back of my hand because I don't want to add too much product. I don't need a bunch of white circle craziness under my eye. I'm gliding it up at an angle, up and out towards my temple. Now, a fluffy brush really is key at this point. You could try a little sponge if you like, one of those tiny beauty blenders. And this fluffy brush is dry right now, but I'm just buffing through and using any product that's left on it to brighten and lighten in the middle because it will bring it all together. So just take your time, really light-handed, blending it through. I'm gonna do the other side quickly, so I'm gonna get just a little bit more product. Check this out. Like, that's it. You can't even hardly see it. That's hardly anything. All right, a little bit on this beautiful fluffy brush. Here and here. And now just bring it all together. Sweeping it back, make sure they're kind of even too. You don't want to bring this one up and this one out. So make sure you've got about the same angle. And I'm getting right here in this area as well. Some of our darkness comes from this inner corner, so make sure you've got some product on that. Now, like I said, you can do this in any order you want. If you want to do your concealer first before you go to eyeshadow and all that, go for it. But I just prefer to do it this way. Now blending it in, and I already put foundation on top of my eyelids, so that's good enough for holding that eyeshadow. You don't need to use concealer and eyeshadow primer and all that jazz. Your foundation and a little bit of powder on that upper eyelid will do the trick for you. All right, plus this doesn't dry fast like some concealers, and you know, you got to work fast and they look a little crispy or crusty. Okay, now I'm just gonna blend gently like I did the other side, making sure everything is nice and bright and cohesive so you can't see, you know, these circles. I want it to blend nice. So even after this brush is dry, I continue to just tap through and make sure everything is good. I'm adding a little bit more on this side to just match the other side. Remember, I did a buildup over here on this side. Okay, so that, I think that looks great. I'm gonna add a little bit here. With my dry brush, I always go back through and brighten here on my jawline. Not really adding a bunch of product, you guys, just buffing that dry brush through to just lighten it a little bit. Now I'm gonna take my blush again and back blend. This step is super important. Just a quick, easy back blend will bring it all together. See, now it's not so bright and obvious right there. It just brings it into this beautiful blended, glowing look. Adding a little bit more blush. All right. I love it. I think it looks so pretty. Now I'm not putting blush on my chin. It's just blending everything and kind of buffing and feathering everything. Once the product's gone off of my brush, I tend to just buff around like a crazy lady, which is fine. It's fine. All right, so now I'm gonna do my lips before I do the lashes. And I'm gonna use a lip liner called Merlot, and I'm gonna combine it with a lipstick called Hot Toddy. It's a combination I like to call the Drunken Lip. These two dudes, I'm gonna gloss on top of it probably too, but yes, the Drunken Lip shall ensue. Okay, so this is that Roll Up Matte Lip Liner I was telling you guys about. I think I used a different shade in my last video, but the matte tends to last a lot longer than any other type of lip liner for me. Just buffing over with my concealer brush. And now I'll do my top Cupid's bow. These lip liners are really soft today. It's really warm here. So I'm definitely getting a lot of product on my lips right now. I remember, here we go to another flashback. I remember when I was doing makeup in Las Vegas. I was about 18 at the time, and I was working at Glamour Shots in the mall, and the air went out in the entire mall in Las Vegas. It was about 115 that day. It was blazing hot, and the air went out, and we were still there working. But all of our lip liners and eyeliners were melting, like that lip liner I just was using. And so we were keeping them in ice water. So I literally, instead of having a jar to keep my pencils in, I had a glass of ice water with my pencils sitting in there. Isn't that crazy? That's not as crazy as the fact that women were still getting their makeup done though. That's crazy. All right, now the Hot Toddy lipstick. You can see it's a lighter peach color, which I love. Just fading it all together. I really like this combo. It's so like bright and not my typical. I do a lot of nude lips, so this one's pretty bright. I'm going to go in with just a nice clear gloss on top. I'm not a fan of a matte lipstick on myself. I feel like it shows lines and wrinkles on my lips more. And so a little bit of shine, I feel like distracts from that. So if you've got the light reflecting off of it, it doesn't look as wrinkly, I think. It looks more moist. All right, I am almost completely finished. I'm gonna go back with powder. And I already did powder, but I'm just setting right through the middle and even under my eyes a tiny bit, but you guys, I'm not packing a bunch of powder under my eyes. And especially because I've got a nice lightweight concealer under there, I don't have to pack a bunch of stuff. I mean, a nice lightweight foundation in place of concealer. Boy, that was almost a disaster right there, saying the wrong thing. Okay, I'm going to do my lashes now. I want to do setting spray before that, though I don't like to do setting spray on my lashes. I do sometimes because I forget. I get excited to slap those lashes on, but if I remember, I like to do setting spray before that. That way I'm not spraying my lashes. And this was a matte setting spray. Sometimes I like to use a dewy finish setting spray, but today I went matte. All right, let's do some lashes. So I have teeny tiny half lashes with a clear band. And if you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, you've probably seen me use them. Let's get them up in there so you can see. They're pretty small. They just help add a little bit of depth to your eyes. I said depth. They help add a little bit of depth to your eyes and make you look like you have a great mascara on. So they're not a big crazy lash. Not that there's anything wrong with crazy lash. I'm gonna use this lash applicator tool. And I'm gonna put on my glasses, you guys. I even tell my friends and clients, put your glasses on when you're doing your lash glue. Don't be in a hurry and think you're gonna skip this step or you're gonna get lash glue on everything. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I say to do. And just getting this lash glue right on the band. I prefer the kind that is clear. It's blue when it's wet and it dries clear, so you can see where you're putting it, but I don't like the black one because, man, if you get that in the wrong spot, it's all over. You got a big black blob to deal with. So another great tip about false lashes, let that glue dry a little bit. So I have my fan on over here, my trusty fan. It's a tower fan over here on the floor. And I'm just putting my lash right in front of it to let that glue dry just enough to get tacky. That helps it just stick right there instead of fighting with it so much. All right, I have a magnifying mirror and a lash and I'm coming in close. Let me see if you can see, okay. And right on my lash line, making sure it's stuck on both sides. Ta-da! Wow. Thank God that was easy. There's nothing more embarrassing than telling people it's easy and you do it on YouTube or on Facebook Live and then you can't get it to work. You're like, no, I promise. It's like when you ask your husband to go look at your car because there's something wrong with it and he goes out and it starts right up or the thing isn't wrong with it anymore. Does that happen to you guys? It happens to me every time. It just doesn't matter what's wrong with my car. If I ask my husband to go check it out, all of a sudden, there it is, a great car, and I'm a crazy lady. Okay, I wanna make sure this is really on there. So I'm kind of like shoving it in towards my eye. Yeah, I mean, I think. It ain't getting any better. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and apply that second lash and I'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, lovely ladies, I have both lashes on now. You can see what a difference that made. That's another reason I say don't struggle with the eyeshadow too much, especially if you're gonna use some false lashes, because pow and bam, it looks amazing. And you've got all that depth and it kind of covers up any mistakes. Like I just realized I forgot to get rid of that mascara spot I have there. So I'll do that later. I'm gonna go ahead and let my hair down. Girl, let your hair down. That always makes a difference. Crazy hair on the loose. All right, I'm gonna get some hairspray. Always trying to get that extra body up top. Trying to hide that hairline. And sometimes I'll just leave my hair crazy and act like I did it on purpose. Nobody knows the difference. All right, let's do a lipstick check. on the teeth, because you know I'm famous for that lipstick on the teeth thing. All right, so let's recap. We did some great skincare and then talked about leaving that eye cream really kind of soaking in under there. So I did a good layer of that. And then I used that serum that I introduced, that face serum from Jafra BioLab collection that is great for dehydrated skin. So I patted it on my whole face and even under my eyes. So I gave it a double whammy there. Then I went through my whole makeup routine from foundation, where I used that cream foundation with no primer, remember. And then I went to some powder, a little bit of contour and blush, a lightweight eyeshadow. I did my brows, I did eyeliner and mascara. You can see I've got some false lashes on. I did the Drunken Lip for you, the Merlot lip liner with the Hot Toddy lipstick, and then I did a little bit of gloss on top of that and setting spray. But the concealer. So when I was finished with my eyeshadow, I went through with foundation instead of concealer. So I used this matte foundation, like I said, that's not what you would think a matte is. It's more of a velvet finish, so it's really soft, it's really pliable, so it moves with your skin, so when you smile it doesn't crease and then stay there. It can actually move with the skin. So it's a great option for under your eyes. I just always suggest you go 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation. So use a regular foundation and then a second foundation for under eyes if you struggle with everything looking dry or cakey, or you don't like the feel of it. This is just a great option for you. And notice I didn't cake and powder underneath after that. Then because I had really light concealer or foundation here, I back blended with my blush brush in order to just blend it back together so it's nice and just kind of filtered through there. So it gives like this beautiful glow as well, but I'm able to get under my eyes brightened and concealed without all of the yucky product and all of the struggle of what looks good and what doesn't, and without a huge ticket. It doesn't cost a lot. That foundation I think retails for only $23, and it's a huge tube of foundation. You know, I've noticed some of the other concealers that are just in a smaller actual concealer tube are upwards close to $50 depending on the brand, and it's concealer, so you know, it will run out fairly quick. Now don't get me wrong, I think that concealer is fine, and especially if you're liking it. I'm not saying to switch, but if you're like me and you have struggled finding a product that looks good under your eyes and that you can depend on to not crease and make you look older than you are, definitely give your foundation a try. And you're welcome to try this brand. You know you can get it in my shopping website, or try something comparable. There's a lot of brands out there and different formulas that have more of a velvety finish. And if you need suggestions, just let me know. But you know, give it a try. All right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you know that I appreciate you. I love you very much. And I hope that I brought value to your day. Don't forget, I also am offering memberships now on my YouTube channel. So you can be one of my beauty pros. You can also be a beauty icon, or you could be one of my beauty besties. There's 3 different levels to choose from. And it just helps support me and help me continue making these videos for you. Also helps my son be able to keep editing them for you. So sign up for a membership, check out the perks if you're interested. If not, it's okay. Just keep commenting, loving, and subscribing. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day.